Oh man, I'm so hot and hungry. Everything's starting to look good to me. Wait, what's that up on the other side of the cow guard? Is that a cow pie? Delicious cow pie. This is Will Buchanan reporting for the Walk for Liberty. Today is April 3rd, 2008, day 100 of the Walk for Liberty. Today, I intend to walk 24 miles for liberty. I'll also be passing the 1,000 mark mile today on the Walk for Liberty, which will happen when I'm 15.77 miles into my walk today. The Walk for Liberty is a coast-to-coast walk I'm making from Oregon to New Hampshire. My wife Brooke is also walking parts of the way with me, and my brother John and his girlfriend Yuka are also helping to support. The purpose of the Walk for Liberty is twofold. One, to support Ron Paul in his campaign for liberty, and two, to raise awareness of the fact that people all over the country who think government is too big, too intrusive, and too out of control are moving to New Hampshire as part of an effort called the Free State Project to work together in shrinking government on a state and local level, rather than having their efforts diluted by being spread out over a national level. Hundreds have already moved to New Hampshire and are making a difference there. And when we arrive in New Hampshire at the conclusion of my walk, Brooke and I will be staying there to live. And I myself will be working to shrink the size of government there as much as possible. You can find out more at freestateproject.org and learn more about Ron Paul's Campaign for Liberty at campaignforliberty.com. As of mile 15.77, I will have walked 1,000 miles on the Walk for Liberty. I've now walked 1,000 miles for liberty. Yesterday I mentioned how I had planned to meet last night with a group of people from the RV park we've been staying at who had heard about my walk and were interested to talk to me. I did end up meeting with them, and the word interesting doesn't even begin to describe them. At least one of them, the owner of the RV park, was a Constitution Party member, and who I would best describe as a small government conservative, or perhaps as Republican the way they used to be, at least in theory. They each had slightly different perspectives, of course, but one common thread seemed to be that in the early part of the last century, the U.S. government went bankrupt and became a corporation rather than a government. The practical result of which, according to them, is that the U.S. Constitution is no longer in effect, and instead, the United States has been operating under corporate law since then. They had all these tricks and things you were supposed to say if you were ever brought into court to assert your right under common law as opposed to corporate law. I completely agree with them that the U.S. corporation, if it is indeed a corporation, has no authority over me. One way in which I might differ from them, though, is that I say they have no authority over me whether or not they're a corporation or a government, because I never gave them any authority over me. The fact is, though, that the U.S. government or corporation claims to have authority over me, so if any of their legal tricks or wranglings ends up helping me in court, so much the better. And I do find much of what they told me fascinating, although I certainly wouldn't want to base my life around it, or do thousands of hours of research, as some of them claim to have done. One thing they told me, which I found intriguing, is that the first ever American embassy, and note that I didn't say United States Embassy, was chartered by Supreme Court Justice William Rehnquist himself and is located in the little town they live in of Roundup, Montana. According to the gentleman last night who told me about it, you can become an American ambassador at it, at which time you then have sovereign immunity. And then the police can't touch you, your family, or any of your property. He also encouraged me, after I became an American ambassador, to go out and start American embassies in each of the other 49 states. I'm not sure what's going on with that story, and I haven't had time to look into it yet, but I am curious. In my conversation with them, many of them also mentioned, and by the way, there were 6 of them total, that they, as well as many of the other people in the area, had heard about the Free State Project already and had followed the state selection process with interest. Throughout the evening, even though I didn't necessarily agree with everything they had to say, I just kind of took it all in and nodded along. However, at the end of the evening, the owner of the RV park made a statement about the draft that I felt compelled to challenge him on. But I'll talk more about that in tomorrow's episode. I walked just over 24 miles today. Here's my GPS location. This is Will Buchanan for blog.walkforliberty.com, signing off.